It's locked, all right.
Your blood is now mine. No one! I will crush you!
Louise's father was determined to find and save her.
my domain, young Ekon!
How long are you gonna keep me locked in here? Let me go! Bastard! Fucking asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be your wife!
Miss Teasdale, are you all right?
How do you know my name? Who are you?
My name is Dr. Reed. I managed to track you down thanks to your father.
So my father really was looking after me. This man, this vampire told me my father was dead. Is it true?
I'm afraid so, miss. I'm so sorry for your loss. But you are free to go, as your abductor is no more.
I suppose my jailer also killed my father, didn't he?
Thankfully, he did not search your father's corpse, where I found his notes describing where he might find you. You should read them.
I must find my father's body. He deserves a proper burial.
Goodbye, Miss Teasdale, and be careful. Until we meet again. Good evening, Miss Price. I'm Dr. Reed. Do you remember me?
Dr. Reed? Yes, of course. You are the doctor who healed me and my mum. Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good to see you too, Carol. Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I did not hurt myself recently. I know how to take care of myself now. I'm almost a grown-up.
Why are you awake at night?
I am helping my mother in her shop.
I'm sure your mother is grateful.
I do the best I can. But I'm so clumsy sometimes.
Why is work not easy? Is something...
Oh no, most people are gentle with me. But I'm so nervous sometimes. I pay no attention and hurt myself. Good thing my mum learned first aid.
What can you tell me of the people?
I don't speak to many people, except our customers. It's not easy to make friends.
What can you tell me about the...
Some of our regular customers have left London. Some others only send their housemaids now. Everybody feared...
Have you no friends at all?
No. Mr. Nithercote used to pass by and was always nice to me.
Does he not come by anymore?
No. Mum said he was weird. Always reciting poetry about a girl he'd met in Whitechapel. I wonder who this camellia may be.
Dr. Reed, I am glad to see you.
Do you enjoy working with your mother?
Oh yes, Doctor. My mother raised me alone after...
Do you remember your father?
No, I was just a baby then. My mother always told me how strong and good he was.
Do you ever think about getting married, now you're a woman?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. Mum always says I'm still a child who has no idea how tough life can be. No husband would like a clumsy girl like me.
Have you ever met the famous...
Yes, a very strange man.
What do you mean?
He said he was ready to pay good money for rare books, and then laughed at what we showed him.
Goodbye.
I am so...
Good evening.
My mother...
Do you need my...
Oh, please, sir.
I will... Goodbye.
Stay a little longer this time.
I am sorry, I can't help you, sir. Perhaps you should talk to someone else instead.
Good evening, Miss Price. How are you tonight?
Dr. Reed, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Always glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll grant you the best price if you fancy buying anything from my humble shop.
What can you tell me about yourself, Miss Price?
I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have...
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war. And the night...
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reed, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious.
Tell me more about yourself. No new fiancé? I remember you were hoping to get remarried. I'm sure you must have a few suitors.
Who would marry an old bat like myself with a grown daughter and a little business? As you know, I only fancy handsome men like yourself.
Have you noticed anything in particular in this part of town recently?
Other than you coming back to cheer me up? Nothing at all, Dr. Reed.
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until the end, for they know no one else will love them as much.
Does your daughter still worry you, Miss Price? I remember you were often concerned about her health when she was younger.
Have you not seen Carol since you returned? She's almost a young woman now, but she'll always remain my sweet little baby.
So you're less afraid?
Some things never change. Carol is still too clumsy for her own good. Sometimes her innocence puts her in real danger.
Why would her innocence put her in danger?
She does not realize how cruel life can be. Maybe I was a bad mother to protect her too much. My poor dear Carol.
You have every reason to be cautious, Miss Price. Especially in these difficult times.
Maybe you could talk with her, Dr. Reed. It would be nice to have a man here more often. We would both feel safer.
May I look at your goods, Miss Price?
It's always a pleasure to have you here, Dr.
Good evening.
You know...
Do you know...
Everybody knows him. He's only been to my shop once, though, looking for rare books and other intriguing antiques.
Did he buy something from you?
No, he left quickly. He almost laughed at my goods. Mr. Dawson may be a rich man, but you can't buy good manners.
But isn't Aloysius Dawson known for his philanthropy?
That was before his brother Robert died in an aeroplane crash. Since then, the remaining twin has turned into a heartless tycoon.
Goodbye.
The Spanish flu is not the only hidden killer around here. Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about the...
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask who you are and why all the questions?
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard. And I don't find...
I work for the Ascalon Club. Here is my permit to go freely about the city.
The Ascalon Club? You should have said so, sir. I must warn you, these streets are dangerous.
What can you tell me about...
I'm the one asking questions, especially when there's a killer on the loose.
What killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians, sir.
Haven't I told you about the investigation I'm conducting? Perhaps I could help you.
All right, without giving you too much information, I'll tell you this. I'm convinced there is a homicidal maniac on the loose, using the epidemic to disguise his kills.
And what about the
We both know the situation is...
What are you really doing here?
I told you. I'm a detective inspector from Scotland Yard, investigating suspicious cases in the area.
Do you work alone?
Yes, the situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick, and since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire city.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know. But since you are also a night worker, have you noticed anything?
I'd like to report a name, Inspector. Jeffrey McCullum. I'm afraid he's some sort of vigilante, trying to recruit an army of angry citizens.
Then I'll write the name down and transmit this intelligence to the appropriate office. Thank you, sir.
Tell me all you know about that homicidal maniac you're looking for.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal, sometimes precise and swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
What are you investigating, exactly?
Mr. Kimura has been murdered. Always the same injuries. Wounds to the neck and massive blood loss. I'll stick to my homicidal maniac theory.
Do you know anything in particular about a man called Aloysius Dawson?
Who doesn't know the man? I think he intervened personally to put an end to the police strike of last August.
What else can you tell me about him?
Aloysius Dawson is exactly the kind of powerful and influential man who could commit murder and get away with it. With just...
Do you need...
I'm afraid I may have caught...
You'll quickly feel better.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dr. John. The Spanish flu is not the only hidden killer around here.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Dr. Reed? Dr. Reed?
Is there anything wrong?
No, it's just... Your name sounds familiar.
I think I would remember.
That's odd. I'm certain I've already heard of you.
I'm afraid not, sir. But...
The pleasure is mine, I guess. I only wish I could remember when it was that we met.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Baker.
We are waiting. Waiting for someone.
And why are you waiting for this person?
Because we need to leave this city. As soon as possible.
Why do you want to leave the city?
I'm not really sure.
Can you tell me anything?
As you like asking questions so much, would you allow me?
Please.
Do you like this city?
I know we are not living in the most peaceful of times, but I have learned to appreciate London's...
Yes, me too. This city tests us. It invites us to find ourselves, to discover our true...
But what if we don't like what we find?
Do we ever know who we are? I wonder sometimes. Or maybe it is the journey.
And what do you do, sir?
I stopped working when I decided to leave. When I realized what I wanted. Wanted something this city...
But what were you doing before?
Does it really matter anymore?
Tell me more about why you want to leave London.
I just don't belong here anymore. I had to convince my brother to leave London because I know we need to find another life out of the city.
Who are you waiting for? I'm sure he has a name.
I really can't answer that question, since I don't know that person.
And why is that?
This person is mostly my brother's acquaintance. I don't even...
But why would you need this person's help to...
Well, I thought we should have left this cursed place already, but my brother convinced me to stay a while longer, and...
What can you tell me?
I've heard this is a man who has searched for...
Do you need...
I'm afraid I did.
I don't want to appear tactless, but you're risking your health by remaining outside at this...
Says the doctor, who also works out.
Goodbye. Good evening, sir. I am Doc...
Yes, please. Would you be kind of...
That's all you need to know?
Well, is it not important to know? As important as where you are?
I suppose you're right.
I am Agamemnon Baker. Like my brother, I think we need to leave this city immediately. And my brother and I rarely agree on anything.
May I ask what you're doing?
I don't know. You should...
You must have your own.
From what I have managed to understand...
What can you tell me about...
It's the only place I've considered myself happy.
Why is that?
Because I'm not feeling happy here.
I still enjoy living in London.
Then I am sincerely happy for you. True happiness in life seems to be the most...
What can you tell me about...
He's older than me, I think. But the important thing is that I really hope I'll die before him. Grief would just kill me, you know?
Is that all?
Pericles is very attached to this city, and without my insistence, he would never leave this place. We don't often agree on anything, you see?
May I ask why you've not gone already, if you're so exasperated by this long wait?
I believe fear is holding us back. My brother would have said it's laziness.
Who are you waiting for, exactly?
The more I think about it, the more I believe it's not exactly...
But what else could it be, then?
I don't know. A feeling?
I'm afraid I'm not following.
Have you ever felt like life trapped you in a role that does not fit you? That you're not in your place?
Trap? And you think...
At least it will give us the chance to be free. That's more than...
What can you tell me?
You should ask that question to my brother instead. Personally, I've not seen Aloysius for many years.
Goodbye. Good evening. Pericles, tell me why your brother disagrees with your presence here.
Agamemnon is naive sometimes. Although don't consider him a fool, sir.
At least you both have the same difficulty explaining what you're doing, and for what reason.
But is that not a common problem for all mortals?
What can you tell me?
If you are searching for a pleasant chat, you should speak with him instead of wasting your time with me. He's always been the more gentle of us.
That's it? That's all?
For the time being, true kindness is the most...
Goodbye.
Red River, a song in the dark, the
It's
whispers
locked,
of a
all right.
sun. So many signs to it. Jonathan Reed. At last we meet. The cards warned me you would visit.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Of course you do. Our mutual friend, Dr. Swansea, can't speak highly enough of you. My name is Usher. Usher Talltree.
You are the leader of the...
Primate of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's.
The cards told you to expect me.
Yes, they can tell me everything. They told me that you are a new Ekon who relishes his blood.
What can you tell me about...
I really don't know. I don't often go outside. And when I do, it's usually to quite distant...
So you see nothing in the stars for me?
Oh, I can tell you many things. But they will only
Do the cards...
No. It's the burning aura of guilt.
Read my foot.
You have been chosen, Jonathan. I see on you the mark of a strong being, so powerful it...
Tell me about yourself. What do you do here, besides turning cards in the middle of the night?
I'm for most a charlatan. For a few, I'm a vampire. And for you...
Some believe you to be a vampire. Who?
The Guard of Priwen, who else? For a time, they sent spies to observe my activities, and they even broke into my home to gather...
Did they steal anything from you?
A personal notebook they quickly took to their head.
Do you want your notebook back?
If you ever find it, I'd be glad to have it back, of course. I do ask one thing, though.
For how long have you been a primate?
It was 15 years.
What do you make of Dr. Swansea?
Edgar is a brilliant and dedicated man. A man of his time. Sometimes a little muddled, but always looking for new paths and new concepts.
What can you tell me about...
I really don't...
Can you read the card?
Are you sure you want to...
Yes, I am.
It will cost you 150 shillings.
Here,
The soldier. A man unable to change his course. Seen by many as a danger. A loving father.
Can you read the...
But the...
Perhaps How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you. The cards...
Is it possible to...
The vampire's fate is much more delicate to read, Doctor. But I can try.
All right.
Your heart will bleed back all the blood you drank, but it will not put out the fire your treachery has lit.
I would rather... How do you...
I told you.
Is it...
A vampire...
How did you learn about Mary? And spare me the hocus-pocus parlor tricks. The truth, now!
Swansea told me. Don't look at me like that. His task is to observe and gather information about vampires. He had to tell me about Mary.
Mary did not deserve her fate.
Suffering is part of the immortal condition. Some prefer to lose their minds rather than face the simple truth.
May I ask you?
Of course. But I must warn you that there are some subjects we consider taboo, in spite of our fondness and...
I know there is no love lost between the Guard of
It was 1801. The Brotherhood was stronger then. A strength that made them hungry for ever greater power. An argument divided them, and the wound never...
What was the nature of the disagreement?
The problem was that both sides considered themselves the legitimate heirs of the original Brotherhood. We divide up the books, the relics, not always fairly or with consideration.
Who founded the Brotherhood?
That's precisely the kind of question I cannot answer. It is delicate, and may reveal some of our secret traditions.
So you're not just a club of academics and scholars?
Once upon a time, very long ago, the Brotherhood did more than simply study the vampires. They took actions to eliminate the more ferocious and corrupted.
Is there anything you could tell me?
Aloysius Dawson, yes.
He's not the only one. It's been quite the fashion for several decades. The Golden Dawn, for instance.
True. Aloysius was a member of the Golden Dawn until 1900. Then his thirst for dark knowledge grew. I'm talking forbidden texts, readings which blackened his heart.
Do you require... You'll feel better after
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, sir.
I rarely wander, yet it amuses me to converse with your cards never lie, but they are never easy to read.